And in this video, we'll be talking about a Chicago gang that faced federal indictment on charges including 13 homicides, armed robberies, carjackings, attempted homicides, and they're allegedly connected to the death of Chicago rapper Lil Mister, the artist behind No Lacking.
Used threats, intimidation, and outright violence to silence witnesses and maintain the gang's power. This indictment lists more than a dozen murders and a slew of other crimes, including a mass shooting outside a funeral home.
Man, this is a seriously active gang, and surprisingly, because this doesn't happen too frequently in Chicago, they've been hit with federal charges, and there's a 99.9% probability they're all completely broke, won't be able to afford attorneys, and will most likely face maximum punishment from the government because they're up against the feds, they're battling the United States, and like I mentioned, if they're found guilty of these homicides, they're looking at death, a federal execution. Now this here is the actual indictment which was previously sealed but is now public, and the members consist of Tay Savage, Troy, Ty, Lil Rob, Dinko, and Disco. Now the grand jury is claiming that all these individuals plus others known and unknown to the grand jury were leaders, members, and affiliates of the Faceworld street gang, a criminal organization whose leaders, members, and affiliates participated in violent acts including but not limited to murder, assault, robbery, vehicular carjacking or hijacking, along with drug trafficking. The Faceworld street gang operated on the south side of Chicago in the Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division and other locations. Now it also states the Faceworld enterprise was involved in long-standing and violent conflicts with multiple rival street gangs including Woo World and 900 among others. Throughout these conflicts, Faceworld enterprise members and affiliates committed violent acts against their opponents inside enemy territory and in locations where enemies were believed to be present. Now for the foolish and ignorant, if you're in a broke criminal street gang where you and your 8 buddies aren't collectively worth more than $650 and the priciest thing you own is a firearm, what the feds will do is they won't just label you a small gang. They'll designate you an enterprise and claim that you all united on behalf of this enterprise to murder, steal, and wreak havoc in your neighborhood. They'll portray you like you were the mafia when truthfully you're just roaches with weapons, and they'll utilize these terms to prosecute you and lock you up permanently. The objectives of the Faceworld enterprise included but were not restricted to the following: preserving and defending the power, territory, operations, and profits of the enterprise through violent acts including but not limited to murder and assault and threats of violence, enriching leaders, members, and affiliates of the enterprise through among other activities robberies and illegal operations. So this is my point. You see how they employ words like enriching? They're attempting to make it appear, preserving and defending the power. Nah man, these are just young foolish individuals doing drive-abys over absolutely nothing. Everyone wants to appear tough. They want to catch a body so they can brag they got a hat in a music video. But this is how the feds will portray you to imprison you forever. Now the racketeering conspiracy started no later than around 2019 and it lists everyone here, and literally they're just getting charged with racketeering due to multiple crimes they committed as a collective. That's all they require to charge you with racketeering. You just have to commit crimes and all of you go by the same name, post the same content on Instagram, display your hand signs, and boom, racketeering. You're facing, 20 years automatically. Now within the overt acts in furtherance of the racketeering conspiracy, see this is what they also do. Every crime you all committed they'll claim was in furtherance of racketeering. It was in furtherance of the gang. You could commit something by yourself, but because you're representing whatever set they'll say it was in furtherance of the entire group and everyone in the group gets charged with it. On approximately March 15th, 2019 defendant Dante Harper shot and murdered Antoine Fields, also known as Mr. Co-conspirator 3 who is deceased drove Harper during the shooting. Now Lil Mister, correct me if I'm mistaken, was the individual who originated the phrase no lacking. Lacking obviously meaning like, oh, you were slipping. You understand what I'm saying, like you have to stay alert. You can't lack because if you're not paying attention, if you're not vigilant, you wind up getting shot. And that's why it was significant when he met his end because he's literally the individual that created the phrase no lacking. I mean this video I believe has 10 million views. Let me check real quick. 10 million views. This is from 13 years ago. So this was back when drill was literally just emerging or beginning to become mainstream, and he wasn't aligned with many of the bigger rappers that we recognize, but we'll dive into that and examine exactly who he was connected with. Now this is a legendary interview from a Chicago legend Zach TV, who was among the first to actually be conducting interviews on location in the streets of Chicago, and unfortunately it would also result in his untimely death as he himself was killed. But this is a Lil Mister interview from 8 years ago.